Hey everyone, my name's Dave, and I am the producer of What Gives Me Life. Tonight, to wrap up season 1, we have a very special episode for you. I'm going to sit down with all of our hosts, and we're going to take a behind the scenes look at what it was like to put together this show and what some of their favorite moments were. So sit back, relax, and get ready. This is What Gives Me Life. Hey, what's up, everybody? So glad that you could be here to hang with us and talk a little bit about what it's been like to make What Gives Me Life. First question I have is for Chad. Where did this idea come from? And let's share with the people a little bit about kind of what the idea was behind doing these episodes in the first place.
So part of this for us was during a critical time for a lot of people in their lives, and dreaming about ways to encourage people was creating weekly content that we could send out there to do just that, to encourage people, send positive vibes through the social media channels. And so we just got together, began to dream about what that looked like in several meetings, and landed on this idea. And Midway had already launched out the What Gives Me Life campaign ahead of Easter, but obviously Easter changed. We had the billboards up, the campaign was out there, some of the videos of What Gives Me Life were already online. And so we just kind of piggybacked off that and said, hey, we want to do something right now to encourage people. And we began to just brainstorm about each episode. And that's kind of where we're at now as we look at wrapping up season 1, looking back. It's been pretty exciting.
Yeah, definitely, man. It's been a lot of fun. And we've had a lot of really cool and interesting moments that go from the scope of some really useful tips for people going through this time right now, all the way to Leslie showing us how we can work out at home during quarantine. So I wanted to ask you guys just specifically kind of what it was like for each of you to do your specific episodes. I'd like to start off with, let's start with Chad and April. You guys, your episodes were talking about homeschooling during quarantine and financial planning during quarantine, respectively. So maybe April, what was it like for you to interview those moms that ranged all the way from people doing it from the first time to people that had been doing it for years already? What did you learn, and what was it like to talk to those ladies?
It was a lot of fun because everybody had a different perspective. Some of us were pulling our hair out just trying to figure this thing out. Our kids were not liking being homeschooled. I know my kids wanted a new teacher, a new principal, a new lunchroom lady. But then you had ladies like Jessica, who this is her lifestyle, and someone that I would consider an expert in her field. And so she was very encouraging. And then someone like Anna Clifton, who this is her world, her profession is education. And so her being able to, alleviate the fears of us parents who are doing it for the first time, to tell us you're not going to ruin your child for life. That was kind of where we were trying to get, is just those reminders of encouragement that even though this is new for everyone, that there's nothing we can do that's going to permanently damage the directions of our children's education. And so it was a fun episode. We had a lot of laughs. We had a lot of behind the scenes that everybody didn't get to see. But at the end of the night, I think people felt encouraged and felt like that we could do this as moms and dads, that we could be a part of our children's education experience.
Yeah, I think that it was really encouraging to hear the way that she just charged all of us to celebrate our seniors as well. You know, right now, that episode was filmed several weeks ago, but right now we're actually kind of seeing everybody walk through what their specific graduation process looks like. And I still remember the words that she said and how she just encouraged us to celebrate them individually and make sure that they felt all the achievements that they've accomplished, even though we don't get to do it in the way that we're used to doing it. Well, Chad, your episode was talking about financial planning. And for me personally, I learned so much during that episode just for myself. And I thought it was something that was super helpful and super useful for people going through this time, no matter what they're facing, whether they weren't working or they were still working, but trying to figure out how they can make sure they take care of their families. So what was that like for you?
It was a great experience. I've known Jason Norton for a long time. Personally went to see him at some point after my brother passed away, just for some advice. And really grew to respect him a lot through that journey. And Jason, by all means, is an expert in his field. And so, I mean, financial crisis has been a big deal over the last several weeks and months as people have seen the stock market plummet. They've seen their paychecks disappear. And to be able to offer some free advice, I mean, you'd go pay this guy good money to sit in his office, and here he's a part of our fellowship, and we're able to offer free advice to people to go tune in and get that, and hopefully give them some hope, but also give them some tangible tools in their life as they navigate their financial situation. When I look back at that, I got to go back and watch it again in all these episodes. I think, man, I'm proud of the content we put out in that week, especially to be able to offer people those helps that they needed. So love Jason, great guy, and just glad that he joined us for that episode.
Yeah, something that's kind of like a behind the scenes thing that not everyone would know is that I'm actually like in all of those Zoom calls, just hidden, kind of directing the episode behind the scenes. And I remember with that episode specifically, I was sitting there like trying to make sure I monitored you guys, but I was taking notes because everything that Jason was saying was so good. And I've used a lot of those principles he laid out in my own life ever since, that episode came out. So we appreciate you, Jason.
Speaking behind the scenes, we recorded that like 6 times, I think, and
Yeah.
we just never could get his phone to work properly or whatever he was set up on. We kept trying, and there was just it ended up being some case around his phone that was messing with the signal or something weird that we just couldn't figure out. So I appreciated your patience with that, and his patience too. And people don't see that side of it; they see the finished product, but behind all these episodes were probably several funny outtakes and it's a little bit of stress.
Kyle and Luke, you guys had the 2 food episodes. We did 2 episodes on food because we all love to eat. And that's the first ideas that we came up with when we were talking about episodes that we could do. Kyle, you can talk about what it was like to interview Judd and Kate and what we were able to do with them and partner with them to help the community.
Yeah, so I'll say this, like on a personal level, the most ironic thing. So if you watch the very first episode, we had Judd and Kate from South of Heaven. They were unreal. They're just incredible people. And I love South of Heaven and I love brisket. And there's hardly anything that I don't like in that restaurant. But if I could pick one thing that I wouldn't eat, it would be pickled onions. And that's the recipe we made. So for me personally, it was just so funny because I don't eat onions and I wouldn't eat anything pickled. And that was what it was about. But like, if you ask anybody in the community, like they were so pumped to see how they made those things. And everybody's always asking for the pickled onions. So just on a funny personal note, I thought that was wild that I was having to interview about pickled onions. But now I've known Judd and Kate for several years now and so impressed with them as business owners. And before they did any of this, I could see their heart and their love for people and their love for this community. And so in that episode, we were able to actually donate some meals for our frontline workers. And they were already doing that before we had even donated. So we just kind of got to play into their heart and what they were already doing. And they actually started a Carrollton quarantine page, which allowed people to share recipes from like elaborate things to, hey, I made a Pop-Tart this morning. And I remember getting invited to that, and there was a couple hundred people on there. And I checked this morning, and there was a little over 2,000 people. So it's still spreading, it's still growing, and I think that's just a testament to who they are. They are community minded, and we love them as a small business, and we love them being in the community. But for me, it was a complete joy to do that episode with those guys. Really enjoyed it.
Luke, next we had an episode with Tano and Christy, who are the owners of Bakery 27 and Little Hawaiian in Carrollton, which are 2 of our personal favorite spots as a staff to go to for lunch. What was it like to interview those guys, and tell us a little bit about what you experienced behind the scenes?
Yeah, we got Tano and Chrissy to make some crepes. So that was pretty awesome. That was actually one of the first meals I ever had at Bakery 27. I went in, and it was probably open about a week, and Tano makes a gluten-free option of crepes. And back then I had to eat gluten-free diet. And so they just put a lot of love and care and professionalism into their food. And they're those kind of people in real life too. Seeing them as people reflect that and live that out also as a part of their character is just so inspiring. they're helping out in the community in numerous ways to their own personal expense. And then just having them as a family cooking that, because you didn't see their son was behind the camera running it, but there was just the opportunity for family to be there together. And so what's cool is they're compassionate, they're loving. And then you have the aspect where we went into the interview with Tano's faith, because it's been a progress and a journey, him coming to America, him asking questions, him growing in Jesus, because a lot of what they do as a family is inspired by Jesus now. And I know recently that Tano lost his father, and so we send out condolences for that, because I know it was a big part of his journey. But just hearing that real life inspiring story and being a part of their journey was just a cool part of our episode.
So Crystal and Leslie, you guys were the hosts for two of the more fun episodes that we got to film for this season of What Gives Me Life. Crystal, you had an episode for Mother's Day where we had some of our dads and their children make a special gift for the moms on Mother's Day. And Leslie, you got together with a couple gals from our church and showed everyone how they could do workout from home during quarantine. Crystal, let's start with you. What was it like to kind of work with those guys behind the scenes, and what were some of your fun moments from filming that episode?
So the episode was amazing. We had so much fun. We knew going into Mother's Day, we needed to provide dads with an avenue to celebrate the moms in their life. So what better way than bringing in some fellas and teaching them how to do a craft. A lot of the episode was just entertaining. They showed up. I don't know if y'all saw my reaction when Sean showed his picture. He's a coach, so I was like, yeah, he's going to give 110%, and he did. So when he showed that picture, I was like, oh my goodness, how in the world is Kelly going to react? And I'm sure that she loved it, but we had a good time, and the kiddos, they were so funny. They cracked me up.
Yeah, we one of the things we did for that episode that was a little different was we kind of met with everyone the night before, and you gave them the craft, and then we had the dads go home the next day with their kids and film themselves putting together the craft. And at first we kind of thought it was going to be more of like a how-to make the craft, and we were just going to show that. But once we got the footage back, it was very clear that this needed to be about how funny it was watching those dads try to wrangle their kids together and put together a craft. So that was one of my personal favorite editing experiences, just sitting through and going through all that footage of those dads making a craft with their kids and trying to keep everything in one piece.
That Jameson, he was so funny.
Man.
And I'm sure that Allison, I don't know how many handprints that she's found throughout the house. And I'll tell you, Elsie, she needs like her own sitcom or her own television show, because she can entertain.
Next year, actually, I'm going to be stepping down, and Elsie is just going to host every episode of What Gives Me Life. And I guarantee that will be infinitely more interesting than anything I could ever come up with.
Yes, she's amazing. Girl's funny.
Leslie, you got to do an episode where we had Aaron Waldrop, who's a personal trainer that's part of our community, and Jessica Hughes, who is actually Luke's wife, and she has also been finding unique ways to get mothers involved and still working out and having some accountability together during quarantine. So what was that like for you?
Well, you guys know that I love to move and work out anyway, so that was so much fun. But Erin, boy, bringing it in the campground, she's living in a camper, so she basically brought it with. You have no excuses. She's working out in the campground, so that was awesome. And she put us through a workout. I think my favorite part was Jessica Hughes completely saying to us that she was not going to work out. And Dave putting on the hard sell, bringing the commercial, while Jessica went and got ready to work out. So that was two of my favorite moments. But bringing a workout that we could do no matter what fitness level. I took the beginner fitness. Jessica ramped it up. Erin was in the middle. I mean, I think that folks looking to move and wanting to move, that was great.
Yeah, I loved, for me personally, because we all know it's been hard to keep that workout routine going when we haven't been able to go to the gym. But I loved her no excuses approach. Like I was thinking, well, I got to go out and buy all this equipment. And she's like, nope, just get a water jug and lift up a water jug or find a chair
Right.
and just do step ups on the chair. That girl she was killing it. And she just put a fire under all of us that we all have the ability to keep working out, even though it doesn't look the same as it would usually. Well, guys, this was a really, really fun experience. I thank each of you for taking some time to talk to us today. And thank you guys for everything you guys all put into making these episodes possible. And thank you to all of you at home that took time to watch these. I hope they encouraged you. And I hope that they just gave you a little bit of happiness in a time where we were all facing some stuff that was different and difficult, but we all came a little bit closer together and all learned a little bit more about each other and helped each other get through this. Before we sign off, what we always love to do is just let you know what we love and what we're passionate about. So what we're passionate about is helping people and being there for people through our community, which is Midway Church. And we'd love for you guys to take part in that. Chad, what's some ways that people can get to know us better and get involved with Midway Church?
Dave, we love to encourage people. We do that every single Sunday on midwaychurch.com, Facebook Live. We offer our services right now. Midway is streaming 2 services live at 9:15 and 11 a.m. So you can join us there and find that. We also have content for children and students on our website. You can go there. We know that summer's going to look a little different, so we encourage you to grab some of that for them and let them be a part of that. And then also on June the 14th, Midway opens back up our campus. We're excited about that, making preparations for that in a limited capacity that day, and we'll kind of grow back into our normal routine sometime, hopefully in the fall. Also, the last thing I'd say is all 6 of the episodes we just talked about are available on our Facebook page. We've already had several of them with several thousand views, and we appreciate you tuning in and looking at the content and being a part of this journey with us. So go find that there. We know you'll be encouraged, and we're very grateful that you took time to be a part of tonight with us.
Thank you guys so much. We'll see you next time.